Hi friends, welcome to my channel. This is Rakesh. Our subject here is Corporate Financial Reporting CMA Final. Today's topic is based on the questions as we are continuing with the questions based on accounting standard. This is the part 3 video consisting of few more questions starting with the question number 12. Have a quick recap on these questions friends. Question number 12. X Limited sold machinery having written down value of 800 lakhs to Y Limited for 900 lakhs and the same machinery was released back by B Limited to H Limited. Actually there was a mistake in the question friends. It may not be B Limited to H Limited, it will be like Y Limited to X Limited, again back, taking back actually. Why? Because if you understand the question, the same machinery was leased back. It indicates that the same two entities have been leased back by them. So the Y Limited again has leased back to X Limited. The lease back is operating lease. Friends, this is the lease back option. This is the lease back question in operating lease mode. So we need to precise about the concept friends. Please have a clear understanding on the concept. Thereby we can apply the same concept in all the cases. Even it may be 10, even it may be 20. You need to know the concept and thereby you can apply. You will know the appropriate treatment of dealing with. I will explain you about the concept. Thereby you can solve all the other options friends. So let me start with the concept here. This is the concept friends. Make a note of it. Sale and lease back and in operating lease. Here the question clearly states that the lease back is operating lease. So this is the concept which we need to know. Case 1. Selling price is lesser than fair value. And selling price minus written down value is gain or loss. Then irrespective of the gain or loss, it should be recognized immediately in P&L. If the selling price is greater than the fair value and sale price minus written down value is equals to gain. Only in the case 2, it is only gain friends, it is not the loss. Only it is the gain, then recognize immediately in P&L the proportionate and the remaining value selling price minus fair value, the remaining SP minus FE up to that extent will be deferred over the lease period friends. Case 3, if the face value is lesser than the written down value, either of the selling price or the fair value minus written down value is equals to loss, recognize immediately in the P&L account. This is the table friends which you need to remember. Here it is SP less than fair value or the selling price greater than fair value or the fair value lesser than written down value. That is not only the case friends. Here we need to understand both are the conditions. For example, in case 1, the selling price is lesser than fair value and selling price minus written down value is gain or loss. We need to consider both the cases, both the conditions, and thereby we need to appropriately recognize in the P&L account or deferring over the lease period. That's what the thing. Appropriate treatment friends. Here let's go back to the given options from A to F. Let's show it in practical. In the first case friends, the selling price is 900 lakhs which is equals to the fair value. So the SP is equals to the fair value actually, and the written down value is 800 lakhs. So the treatment of A, here the SP is equals to fair value. So SP minus WDV. I mean to say the selling price is 900 lakh friends and the fair value or the WDV value is 800 lakhs. So it is clearly indicate that there is a 100 lakhs of profit which was made based on the sale. So it should be recognized profit in books, recognized immediately. That's all. Excuse me. 900 lakhs minus 800 lakhs, it is 100 lakhs profit which need to be recognized immediately. Go to the next option B. Fair value is 950 lakhs. The company has written down value as 800 lakhs. Original recorded cost is as 900 lakhs and the fair value was recognized at 950 lakhs. In option B, by understanding the case 1 and case 2, case 3, Thereby, by comparing, you can understand, friends. Here, the selling price is 950. Selling price is was not given, but the fair value is given. The fair value was given as 750 lakhs and it was sold at 900 lakhs. It was given in the main question, friends, if you see in the above line. The return on value is 800 lakhs. Even though return on value is 800 lakhs, it was sold for 900 lakhs, but the fair value of the asset is 950 lakhs. So the selling price was lesser than that of the fair value, if you observe it. So in which case it is applying? If you see in my table, in case 1, the selling price is lesser than the fair value. So the selling price minus WDV, whether it is gain or loss, to be recognized in P&L. That is the treatment in case 1, friends. So the same thing which we need to do in option B. Here is the solution. We need to apply case 1 here. Selling price is 900 lakhs, fair value is 950 lakhs, return on value is 800 lakhs, SP minus WDV. That means selling price minus WDV, return on value. 900 lakhs minus 800 lakhs, that equals to 100 lakhs, recognize immediately in P&L account. As a profit, we need to recognize immediately in P&L account, friends. This is the treatment for option B. Going further with C. Fair value is 800 lakhs, sale price is 900 lakhs. Friends, here the fair value is exactly equals with return on value. So what we need to do is, as the fair value and return on value is exactly matching, we need to compare the fair value with selling price, as that is the deferred value, different value. So compare the fair value with selling price. The difference of the selling price minus the fair value equals to 100 lakhs you will get, because 900 lakhs minus fair value here given is option C is 800 lakhs. So the 100 lakhs will be amortized over the lease period. C. Here the fair value is equals to return on value. So compare the fair value and selling price. Here the selling price minus the fair value equals to 100 lakhs. The sale was made during this lease period. So it should be amortized. The profit which was gained should be amortized over the lease period actually. Continuing further with D. Fair value is 850 lakhs. Return on value is 800 lakhs. Sale price is 750 lakhs. Here the selling price is lesser than the return on value as well as the fair value. The same thing need to apply, friends. In option B, we identified that the sale price is lesser than the fair value. Because the selling price is 900 lakhs, whereas the fair value is 950 lakhs in option B. Similarly, when you come to the option D, the sale price was lesser, 750, and the fair value was 850. But return on value 800 lakhs, please for some time you keep that apart. The sale value is 750 and the fair value is 850. So it's clearly indicate that the sale was made lesser than that of the fair value actually. So again the same case 1 option, selling price minus return on value, we need to be immediately recognizing that. Here indicates option D, case 1, apply case 1 here. The selling price equals to 750 lakhs, fair value equals to 850 lakhs. So the selling price is lesser than that of the fair value. Is selling price minus return on value, that equals to 50 lakhs, need to be recognized immediately. We have sold it lesser than that of the return on value which was recognized in the books of accounts. So we need to recognize the loss immediately, 50 lakhs. Continuing further with E. Fair value 750 lakhs, sale price is 790 lakhs. Here the issue is the sale price was made more than the fair value, but the thing is which is lesser than the return on value which was recorded in our books of accounts. That is 800 lakhs. What we need to do is, friends, if you analyze the option 2 and option 3, I mean case 2 and case 3 here, case 2 and case 3, which you need to apply here? That is the question. Why? Because the selling price is 790 lakhs. Fair value is 750 lakhs. So the selling price is greater than the fair value. This case will apply. and the fair value is 750 lakhs is lesser than the written down value. Written down value is 800 lakhs. So this case can also be applied. Then you need to check the condition 2. Selling price minus written down value is gain. Here the selling price is 790 minus written down value is 800 lakhs. So it is not a gain. In our case it is a loss. So this case will not be applied here. So in option E we need to apply case 3, not the case 2. Then proceeding further, the fair value is lesser than written down value as it is satisfying. Then proceeding further, the fair value minus written down value, that indicates the 750 lakhs minus 800 lakhs, that equals to 50 lakhs. Here in option E, while we are explaining it, recognize immediately if it is a loss. As it is a loss, we need to recognize immediately, friends. That is the issue. But here if you consider selling price is 790 lakhs, friends, whereas the fair value is 750 lakhs. So we have made a profit more than the fair value. So the excess of 40 lakhs, which is a profit, among the 50 lakhs, even though 50 lakhs it is a loss, 40 lakhs profit need to be deferred over this lease period, because this was the sale which was made in this lease. So 40 lakhs profit deferred over the lease period, whereas the 50 lakhs, which was FE minus WV, need to be recognized immediately. Continuing further with F. Fair value is 860 lakhs and sale price is 900 lakhs. Here we need to apply the case 2. Why? Because the selling price is greater than the fair value. 900 is greater than 860. Sale price minus written down value equals to gain. So both the conditions are satisfied, friends. 800 lakhs minus 900 lakhs minus 800 lakhs. That is the selling price minus written down value. That equals to gain 100 lakhs. If you check out here, you can understand. Out of the 100 lakhs gains, SP minus FE, I mean to say the 40 lakhs which was profit. Similar to the option E, we need to defer that profit over the lease period. But the difference of, out of the 100 lakhs gain, the difference of 60 lakhs, I mean in excess of the 40 lakhs, the remaining 60 lakhs here, the profit, immediately recognized in books. That is the treatment which we need to do for F. This is the treatments from A to F, friends. By understanding the table or the concept, you can have a clear understanding of what to do for what options. Diluted EPS, friends. I will explain you a diluted EPS problem. Thereby you can understand the theory clearly. Directly reading the theory, you cannot understand it. Question number 14. C Limited is working on a different project which are likely to be completed within 3 years period. Recognize the revenue from these contracts on percentage of completion method in financial statements. Okay. While they are preparing the financial statement, the method applied is percentage of completion method. 15, 16, 17, 22 lakhs, 32 lakhs and 42 lakhs respectively. For the income tax purpose, they have adopted completed contract method. Okay. As per for the IT purpose, they have opted the method called completed contract method. The revenue recognition was 14 lakhs, 36 lakhs and 46 lakhs, 15, 16 and 17 respectively. Income tax rate is 35%. Calculate the amount of deferred tax asset or liability in the years 2015, 16, 17. Friends, before you create the liability or the asset, I mean to say deferred tax liability or deferred tax asset, first you need to understand whether by comparing the values, you need to understand whether there is the issue will be raised by way of creating a deferred tax liability or deferred tax asset. You need to understand or analyze. I will give you a table or the logic of the concept on this issue, so that you will have a clear understanding whether you need to create a deferred tax asset or deferred tax liability, and thereby proceeding further with this question. Let me explain you the concept first. Friends, understand this table. When the accounting income is greater than the taxable income, there is a need to create a deferred tax liability. Why there is a need to create the deferred tax liability? I will explain you the logic there. taxable income is lower than the accounting income. As the taxable income is lower, the taxes paid to the government will also be lower because we pay the tax on the taxable income. So even the accounting income, so the tax need to be paid as per the accounting, as per the books, as per the Companies Act, is higher than the tax which we have already remitted to the department, which is lower. So we need to pay the excess of the tax. So it is clearly understood that there is a liability which we need to create a liability so that we will pay the taxes in future. So the deferred tax liability will be created. So see the below line, friends. There the accounting income is less, whereas the taxable income is more. So the deferred tax asset is created. Why? Because the tax paid on the taxable income is higher than the taxes which need to be paid as per the accounting income. So as we paid higher, which we need to pay lower, so we had a asset. I mean to say deferred tax asset. So deferred tax asset or deferred tax liability need to be analyzed based on this comparison, friends. By understanding this table, you will have a clear understanding whether the liability or the asset will be arised in the problem. Yes. Continuing further with the problem. Here the 3 years has been given. Make sure that you follow this process of solving deferred tax asset or liability problem. Thereby you will have no confusion in solving the problem. Year 2015, 16, 17. All the 3 years has been considered and analyzed together. The opening balance for 2015, that is the first year, friends, there is no balance. 22 lakhs was given as per the books of accounts, whereas in income tax purpose it was shown only 14 lakhs, friends. So the resultant was, so the excess which we need to remit to the department even in the future, that there is an addition of 8 lakhs, friends. The deletion was 0 and the closing balance was 8 lakhs. We need to create a deferred tax liability. Why do we need to create a deferred tax liability? Here, as per the accounting income, it is 22 lakhs. As per the taxable income, it is 14 lakhs, friends. Whenever the accounting income is greater than the taxable income, what do we need to do? Accounting income is greater than the taxable income. We need to create a deferred tax liability. So the same thing here. Accounting income is greater than the taxable income. So we need, for the closing balance of 8 lakhs, applying the appropriate rate of 35% which was given in the question, we need to create the deferred tax liability for 2.8 lakhs. Creation of deferred tax liability. Journal entry also shown for your reference. P&L account data to deferred tax liability. Done. Here the closing balance is 8 lakhs. Continuing further with the next year. The opening balance as carry forward from the previous year is 8 lakhs. Here accounting income is 36 lakhs. Whereas the taxable income is 32 lakhs. So that there is a resulting of 4 lakhs in negative. Why I said this is, there was a closing balance of 8 lakhs. Here the accounting income is 32 lakhs, whereas the taxable income is 36 lakhs. So the taxable income is more than the accounting income. So that the resulting is negative 4 lakhs. But opening balance itself is positive 8 lakhs. Thereby, by reducing it, still we need to create a liability for the 4 lakhs for the value equivalent to 4 lakhs. The deferred tax rate is 35%. Applying the 4 lakhs 35% rate, you will get the 1.4 lakhs, which we need to create an additional deferred tax liability. So creation of DTL, deferred tax liability, the same formula again. Treatment in the books of accounts. So by here, the opening balance get adjusted up to 4 lakhs and thereby the closing balance is continuing further with 4 lakhs. Continuing the 4 lakhs with the next year, 4 lakhs and 0. Here the accounting income is 42 lakhs, whereas the taxable income is 46 lakhs. So again, that there is a negative 4 lakhs which was getting arised in these books. So existing 4 lakhs getting adjusted with this 4 lakhs. Existing 4 lakhs getting adjusted with this 4 lakhs becomes 0, and that doesn't result, as it is 0, closing balance itself is 0, that it doesn't result due to this 0, there will not be any arising of deferred tax asset or liability. So that there is no treatment in the books of accounts in the third year. This is all about the question number 14, friends. Please have a look at concept once. Continuing further with question number 16. X Limited 25% shares in Y Limited holds. X Limited holds 25% shares in Y Limited at a cost of 50 lakhs on 31st March 2016. Y shares share capital and reserve is 200 lakhs. For the year ended 31st March 2016, Y made a profit of 8 lakhs. 50% distributed as dividend. Compute the value carrying amount as on 31st March 2016 to be shown in the consolidated financial statements. Okay. As X Limited holds 25% of the shares in Y Limited, the ratio here it holds is 1/4. The cost of the shares which was incurred by X already in Y Limited is 50 lakhs. Yes, it is given as on 31st March 2016. It was given here, friends. Done. Here the reserves and the share capital of Y Limited, where the X Limited holds 25% of the share. So 1/4 of 200 lakhs is nothing but 50. That is the X portion again. The share of the profit is 8 lakhs. Even though 8 lakhs it is the profit, here the X Limited share is 25%. So 1/4 of 8 lakhs is nothing but 2 lakhs. There was a distribution made for 50%. That indicates 4 lakhs. 4 lakhs into 25%. That is 1. So deducting that dividend which was received need to be removed again, as it was already received by X Limited. So the value of investments as on 31st March 2016, you can calculate 50 plus 50 plus 2. In total it is 1 or 2. Deducting 1 lakh from that. So the value as on 31st March 2016 is 101 lakhs. Continuing further with the other questions. Interim financial report in comply with AS 25. Actually, as per AS 25, there is no obligatory or specific time stating that this is the time to report. This is the time to prepare the financial report. But as and when they are preparing the financial report, interim financial report, they need to comply with AS 25 actually. Interim financial report in comply with AS 25. The standard does not say frequency of IFR, interim financial report, or the time limit for presentation. But the standard says if it is required to prepare and present, it should comply with AS 25. I will give few instances, friends, where you need to prepare and present. As and when you are preparing and presenting the interim financial report, then you need to make sure that it is comply with AS 25. Few instances are given here. Quarterly report to board of directors or the banks, you need to prepare the internal financial report. In case of the mergers or amalgamations, there will be a requirement of preparing the interim financial report. Whenever there is an issue, public issue, I mean to say initial public offer purpose. For consolidation of parent and subsidiary, as and when there is a requirement of initial IFR, then you need to prepare the IFR report. But the standard, friends, do remember that the standard does not say the frequency of IFR or the time limit for preparation and presentation of IFR. Continuing further. I will continue further with the next video, friends. Thank you.